Hey there, welcome to Elevate Real Estate, the podcast where we spill the beans on all things real estate, from the highs to the lows and everything in between. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just dipping your toes in, it's real talk from real investors. My name is dliaoandes.
And a seasoned investor, I don't know if I'm seasoned, but my name is Lila Kaplan, where we ask questions, share ideas, and help each other grow. Get ready to elevate your real estate game and let's climb and prosper together. Hi,
Hello,
Diana.
Lila. Hi. Welcome to episode 9 of our podcast.
Woohoo! Yay! Episode 9.
Yeah, so what's going on? I mean, we are right now in May in the midst of busy selling season, busy short-term rental season. Everything's busy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just been really crazy. In the last 5 weeks, I've had about 8 listing appointments and picked up about 3 clients. Everyone is looking to sell their house, and we do have a lot of buyers in the market as well. So we're definitely at the peak of that selling season. So, and then also, we're still looking for the right opportunity to buy and getting our investors to deploy some capital so they don't have to sit there and give their money away to the IRS because, we just finished tax season again. But our rental properties are all doing well. We're actually selling a few. So speaking of rental properties, Diana, how's your first short-term rental going?
It's great, Lila. We launched, it's been like a month and a half now. We actually have our 7th guest checking in today already.
Wow,
So, yeah,
congratulations.
thank you.
Exciting.
It's definitely been exciting. It's been a whirlwind. I think I was, obviously each one is still nerve-wracking because you're kind of like, all right, what are they going to say in the reviews? What do I need to do? And sometimes I forget things, but it is my first go at being a property manager too, from a distance. So lots of learning experiences as well, but I'm really excited that we actually did it.
Yeah, good. I definitely get you about the being very nervous. I think, I have a pretty thick skin and I can deal with any situation and have been in pretty good and bad situations as well. But the reviews always makes me the most nervous because I never know what they're gonna say. But usually, we're super hosts, so we usually get 5-star reviews. But yeah, it's so funny and anxious. Sometimes I'm like, you have to reply back to see the reviews, and it just gets so, I don't know, exhausting thinking what they're gonna say.
Yeah, so far we've been, so far it's been 5-star reviews, but I wanted to make sure that we continue, like everyone's excited because everything's new in our cottage. So I think that's a plus, but I just want to make sure we still maintain that level of quality as more guests check in. So, I told our cleaner property manager, like if things start getting ratty and old looking, like please let me know so that I can replace them. Cause like that's the worst thing. You don't want to come in to dirty, like or ratty pillows or something like that.
Ultimately, they are your eyes, your ears, your nose, everything on the ground. So having a great team is definitely important. So do you think you have the right team in place right now?
Yeah, I'm really happy with our cleaner. She's been really great in just in terms of she's a project manager, so she's been good with like every time I send her a message, she responds back. She confirms everything when she's done. She sends me photos. She comes when she's supposed to. So to me, that's really important. It's been a little harder to find like good teams in terms of other people just showing up when they say they are because I came across the conflict where I had guests checking out like I think Monday and then new ones coming in Thursday. And I really needed the lawn mowed, right? So I was just trying to schedule the guy to come in that time frame.
Right.
And it's like, are you coming tomorrow? Are you coming tomorrow? And then we had some other maintenance things and just trying to schedule it. So that was a little bit of a difficult learning curve, but it wasn't anything terrible.
Yeah, good. So is it the peak season right now in where you are? And it's where is it? East of Jersey, right?
We're in Villas. It's right by Cape May. It
Cape
is.
May, right.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten busy. We every weekend is booked through July right now.
Oh,
So,
nice. Okay.
yeah, so I think a lot of people are starting to come in because now all the shops are open. The weather's great, so people are coming in for the weekend. And then once Memorial Day hits, like June is almost all booked up.
Okay. And how are you pricing the daily nights, the
Yeah, great.
nightly rates, sorry.
Actually, Lila, you gave me really great advice because, like, when I listed on Airbnb and Vrbo, they have these smart pricing things, but like
Right.
the pricing there is just so super low. They're just trying to
Yeah.
get the rooms occupied. So you
Yeah.
had suggested using Price Labs. So
Yes.
that's what I've been using. And I love it because it's been adjusting the prices and like certain times of the year, there's events going on in town that I don't even know about.
Right.
And that integration is pulling that data and seeing where everyone
Yeah.
else is priced and suggesting prices. So I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So if anybody out there that has a short-term rental and is not using dynamic pricing, please get with it because you are leaving money on the table here. I love it too. I remember starting with dynamic pricing for one of our Hershey properties. And, initially I think we were hitting about $40,000. And with dynamic pricing, we actually added another $10,000 to our bottom line. So, yeah, they know exactly what's happening. You do have to adjust here and there, though, right? You still have to kind of change the pricing because the algorithm, without going in and changing certain um, aspect about the listing, your algo starts to shrink. So your ranking starts to shrink. So make sure you're adjusting your price, make sure you're adjusting your titles,
Mhm.
make sure you're adjusting your pictures on a weekly basis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that
So
your
you would suggest,
algorithm.
okay. So you would suggest going in there every week and just kind of mixing it up a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, like, if you think about hotels, right? When they market to us in an email, every time they market to us, they have some kind of promotion, some kind of different title each week. And so you want to kind of do the same thing. Airbnb is definitely not a passive business, it's a very active business.
Mhm.
And so going in there on a weekly basis to change the title is very important. So making sure that you can draw your guests to your listing through the title. And then it's also the pictures as well. So moving the pictures around, putting some of the best pictures. Your 5 best pictures should be on your listing first, right? It's kind of like dating on Tinder. Most people have their like 5 best pictures on Tinder. Well, that's exactly what it is on Airbnb and VRBO or any of these OTA platforms, is that you want your best pictures first and then the rest can come after. And then
Yeah.
you kind of just rotate some of these pictures. And then lastly is the pricing. Price Lab does adjust, but you can also adjust as well, just $10 up, $10 down, just so that the system itself knows that you are active in the system, and that they'll start to rank you higher and higher.
Mhm.
There is a technology platform that actually helps you with ranking on Airbnbs and VRBO. I have to find the name, but if you ever wanted to use it, I think it's called Rank Breeze.
Oh,
It
okay.
actually does help you to rank yourself in Airbnb, VRBO if you're too busy to do it yourself.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's really great tips, Lila. The other one I think that's been really integral in the whole running this Airbnb, I didn't even think it was, not that it's hard, but it is a lot of work. It's not like easy. You just buy a place and rent it out and all easy, everything's done. Hospitable has been really helpful for me too.
Yes.
Yeah, because at first I was like, it sends automatic replies, and you're at first you're like, oh, why I could just do that myself, but really you're working and doing things throughout the day. So at least this way, as soon as someone puts in a request to book, there's a response that sends out saying like, thank you for requesting the book, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just so much easier. It's like having your own personal assistant.
Right, right. Yeah. I mean, if we have the technology, why not use it? Sometimes we miss these messages.
Yeah,
So if we can show that we are a responsive host, right? That five-star review starts from the point that they send an inquiry to you. So the faster that you can communicate with them, the better that they have, psychologically that, hey, I have this awesome host who's willing to take care of me. I better book here. I'm going to stay here and, ultimately give this host a 5-star review because no matter what, I mean, I've had guests who stayed in my house who, ran into a few issues, right? Maybe, the cleaner forgot to fill up the soap or something broke, very minor. Um, but we still got 5-star reviews because we communicated very well and we communicated expeditiously. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's really important.
Yeah. Um, and I think the other thing I like about it is that it also sends automated emails to your cleaning team. So as soon as someone books and you accept
Yes.
it, it goes to my cleaner, property manager, and they know when someone's there so they can put it on their calendar. So I think
Yeah.
that's been really helpful.
Yeah.
So
Good. Well,
it's
I'm
just,
glad everything's going so well for you.
yeah, it's just amazing what technology can do. And then I'm kind of excited because now people have been watching and then they're asking me like, how did you find this rental property? How can you help me find a place? Like, I'm like, listen to the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is so awesome. Now you become, a mentor in this industry to help others to establish a beautiful short-term rental, not only for, your guests to use, but also for your family to use. And the
Yeah.
income can just offset any expenses that you have.
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting getting that first like person stay. I mean, it was nervous, but then it's exciting when you first get that first paycheck because you're like, oh my
Yes,
gosh, you
it's hitting the
know.
bank.
So I'm excited. Obviously, it's still. I'm only a month and a half in. We still have to finish out the season. I'm excited to see what this year brings in terms of like how did we do versus the numbers we projected, and then
Right.
hopefully this will lead to many more. Just now that I get the experience, and I'm also willing to help other people. So I like sharing what I know. So it's, and I'm still pretty new in it. So there's a lot of the questions that are still fresh in my mind about starting
Yeah.
this. But I'm
Awesome.
curious, you had mentioned earlier that you were selling some of them. So why are you selling and what are you doing with the sales profit? Are you buying
Yeah,
something?
so I am selling some of my smaller properties, and also, well, some of the smaller properties that I've owned. So I actually recently sold the first duplex that I ever bought. It's kind of nostalgic, thinking about it and letting it go, but we are looking to scale up. Me and my husband, I like to scale into larger properties where I can get better returns and help my investors to get better returns as well. In February, I closed on a huge multifamily deal, 360 units. And, we have to raise about $10 million. So that's the type of project that's really starting to pique my interest rather than buying smaller multifamily. And that's kind of the journey that you go through, right? You start with, maybe a fix and flip and then buy a single family for rental. And you gradually, as your success grows, your portfolio grows. And you're willing to take risks in larger assets. So, we're definitely looking for larger multifamily units right now in across the United States, but also looking at some other asset classes as well, like medical office buildings. So yeah, so I'm liquidating some small stuff to get into the big stuff and kind of have my money grow and roll and building that wealth, right? Because ultimately, why do we do real estate? It's not only for enjoyment, but for building wealth ultimately and potentially leaving a legacy for our kids.
Awesome. And what is on your buy list or wish list for this year then? Is there one thing that you're hoping to get?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to buy 100 units of multifamily. So it could be multiple buildings or it could be, one building. We're hoping to close out the year with 100 units and then buying one medical office building as well. So I do have a lot of investors who are medical professionals and
Mhm.
they like to deploy their money to, some kind of, unique investment in real estate because it benefits them from a tax perspective. And so a lot of them understand medical office buildings better versus multifamilies. And so because I want to make sure that I grow my investors' asset or capital, I need to cater to what they feel comfortable in. And so that's a project that I'm working on. I would like to get another short-term rental. I'm not sure where yet. Not a lot of places have great projections. So I'm really looking at smaller markets where people haven't heard of. So looking in, maybe I heard the Ozark is doing well. Valuation's pretty low. And they're building out a lot of golf courses and, vacation spots in that area. So that's one spot that I'm looking at right now.
And just a quick question. Do you feel like where your short-term rentals are, has the market gotten more saturated with short-term rentals, or like how
Yeah.
has it affected your revenue for the year?
So it's funny you asked that because, I'm seeing like a flip-flop between my short-term rentals. So last year, so I have a couple properties in Tennessee. Last year, it did really, really well. Not extremely well, but well enough, because we self-manage ourselves. We don't use a property manager, and we're able to hit over $130,000 each for our cabin in Tennessee. So that was great. But then last year in our Florida property, we should be hitting at least 150, and we barely got there. And now this year, we already have $170,000 on the book for my Florida property, and we're probably going to close out the year with $200,000. But now our Tennessee property is kind of slowing down this year. So I'm not sure exactly why one market is doing better than the other market, but we definitely see kind of a flip-flop between the two markets right now.
That's
So,
interesting.
yeah.
And is the price point similar in terms of like per night stay in both of them?
Um, the property, I would say probably Florida is a little bit more expensive than
Mhm.
Tennessee, just because where it is. It's also a much larger property. It's luxury property and is sitting pretty close to the beach. But, you know, I don't think the price point has anything to do with it because most people will come in groups. And so
Mm,
their nightly price, their ADRs will be pretty low.
okay.
Um, but yeah, we're just not seeing a lot of the occupancy rate in Tennessee has kind of slowed down this year. But with short-term market and vacation destinations, you definitely see, it ebbs and flows. And so, we're hoping that things will pick up in the second half of the year.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just curious because I was reading, a lot of I'm in the short-term rental, like a owners group, and then they were all saying the revenues were projections and everything was bookings were low compared to last 3 years because the number of short-term rentals in the area increased by 20% year to year.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was kind of worried as a new short-term rental person coming in, like, oh my gosh, I mean, I don't have anything to compare it to, but I was just like, oh, thankfully we're getting bookings. But I think where it actually helped me being smaller is that I'm able, because mine only sleeps 2 to 3 people, that it's more affordable. They don't have to do like this giant
For
week-long
sure.
stay with like $5,000. Like they're able to do like $200 a night type of thing,
Yeah.
depending on when they book. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, actually worked out.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you started a little smaller because if I think back, we wanted to get something bigger because we wanted better revenue and we had the money, right? Like we were 1031 exchanging into this
Yeah.
property from a multifamily. And so from that perspective, it worked out for us still. Like $130,000 is double what we were making before. We were making 60,000.
Mhm.
But at the same time, just looking at the market, it is somewhat saturated, and I don't know it's completely saturated, but I just see the occupancy rate has gone down a little bit. But then we could have said the same thing in Florida, but now occupancy rate has gone up this year. So,
You never know.
who knows, right? Everybody's going to discover a new market. Go to Destin, guys. Destin. Go to Great Smoky. It's
I
beautiful
want to go
place for
there.
sure.
Yeah, because
But, ultimately, it's still paying all of our expenses, and we still have this free property that's kind of rolling on its own. So we're still happy about it.
and then listen, I just launched a month and a half ago, and I'm already almost. I'm well, not. I'm already booked up to July. So August is still open, but I'm like, I'm not. At first, I was worried, but now I'm not because I'm like, look, people are still booking vacations, maybe just a little bit last minute or the month before, but
Yeah,
it's still going to happen. So
yeah, yeah,
I'm excited. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, um, been busy, but I'm excited to be busy. And yeah, if anybody has any questions about real estate or investing in something, make sure to reach out to Lila or myself. We're happy to
yep.
help you and let's answer any questions and share our knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm Lila Kaplan from Colorado. If you are looking to invest, buy, or sell in this market, or actually any market, please give me a call, three
All
four
right.
seven 497 2760.
And my name is dliaoandes with Remax. We are over in Central Jersey, near the Montgomery, Princeton area, 908-812-1816. Anyway, as always, all the details are in the captions, and we'll catch you on episode 10. Thank
Yay!
you.
Bye.
Bye.